Hi there, my name's Beck. I've been away from posting on social media for over a year now, but little does anyone know that I kept painting. If you're new here, I share my art progress, some sketching, and I did start to get into oil painting right before my very long break. So in this video, I would like to show you where I left off. And to start off, if you have watched any of my videos before the break, you may have seen some of these from 2024 already. I just want to go through them quickly for any new viewers. I tried different styles and ways to paint, different ways to prepare my cardboard for painting as well. As you can see, sometimes it didn't work out. And then all of a sudden, with this one, this was a breakthrough piece for me because it looked so much better than everything that I'd done previously. And yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence to keep going. So that was still in 2004. And it was just like this huge jump that I got better. And then I slowly got worse as progress is. And I just, because I didn't want to waste my good canvases, I did all of these on pieces of cardboard, and as you can see with this one, it wasn't prepped with anything, so it did come through the oil. I tried with gesso, and I've tried with a homemade gesso, and with mixed results because the cardboard is quite smooth and it can be very difficult to control the oil paint. But I do like the idea of recycling. And I mean, these have held up for at least a year now, so, and that's with nothing. That's just with, this one would have been just normal acrylic gesso. And these aren't varnished in any way. I thought this one was quite pretty. I like that one. That was on an ice cream container. So you can see this is at the, well, getting towards the end of 2004. And then I'd have these horrible paintings that were just look absolute rubbish, and I struggled with consistency for a long time. So you may have seen some of these, so I'll just go through them quickly. I did try with an underpainting of, I might put a hot pink acrylic underneath, as you can see. And then I started trying studies. So this was, I think it's Alfred Munning's study. And then I just go back to doing these tiny little things with scraps, pieces of scrap. And a lot of time I would just use a layer of acrylic paint underneath. Or I'd see something on Pinterest and I'd think that, I'd like to try to do that. And then because sometimes, depending on the cardboard I used, it would just be so slippery and I'd have so much trouble. And, you can see it's just slipped everywhere on some of these. So lots of horses, because I do enjoy painting horses and drawing horses because they're my go-to for when my confidence is low. But yeah, I branched out and tried a cat. I thought this came out quite well. I quite enjoyed this one. And that was towards that was in December 2024. And I tried a figure, and I thought that came out alright too. It wasn't too bad. Another pussycat. At the time when I did this one, I thought I was having a terrible time because this was using different, well, I had a reference for the cat, but I didn't have a reference for the background, so I just made it up, and you can kind of tell. And then again, slippery cardboard, and just, I don't know what I was doing there. I guess I went through a period of having a lot of trouble. I always have trouble with fabric. Again, another style exploration. I guess I went through a little period of trying portraits. This one turned out a bit better. So this was all, November, December, so they're a little bit mixed up. I do have another one of this, of a tiger, but it's actually hanging up on my wall, so. But I did try other animals, as you can see. And landscapes. I had to go at some landscapes with varying degrees of success. So this is all still 2024. And then I went and did this one because at the time I wanted to do 5 pieces of work of painting horses, because I thought that would be easiest, because that's the easiest that to come to me. So this was my first one. I'll put a picture up of the second one. And I do have a couple of paintings that I've done this year that are actually just hanging around, so I might not be able to show them yet. I'll show them in another video. We have a lot to go through, so just a lot. I'll just show these two. These were done in 2025, but I'll zoom out a little bit so it's easier. Actually, I'll just do it like this. Here we go. But there's no actual month date on them that I put on there, so I'm not sure when that was. Let's just put that up there. And this is a study. I reused an old canvas. I just gessoed over it, and I don't even know if I gessoed over it. Sometimes I just paint directly over whatever's there, because it would have been an acrylic painting. Yeah, so these two aren't dated at all, so I'm not sure if they're 2025 or 24, so just show you those quickly. Yeah, so 2025 officially started off with this. And I think there was another painting that was just as bad, well, worse, and got thrown out. So yeah, not a good start. But I decided to do some studies. So this is another Munnings study. And then I would just try. This is all in January. I would just keep trying, is basically what I was doing. This is a Kemp study. It's very flat, matte. And then I would try and do one of, a picture I'd see on Pinterest or somewhere. And then this is another Kemp study. And this is another study it was a painting study off Pinterest. I don't know who the original artist is, because I tried to do a reverse lookup and I could not find it, and there was no information on the post that I used as a reference, but it's beautiful. The original was beautiful work. So I decided to try and use some of my good materials, because you get into the habit of just using scrap, because that's all you believe you're good enough for. And I tried to do an impressionist style study with this one, and yeah, I had a lot of trouble with this. I don't think it really, I don't know, I withhold judgment. And so I went and tried to do a landscape with mixed results. It's just not there yet. So I did, early in the year, I did do a lot of experimenting with style. Just doing style references. Sunflowers. I did do a couple of sunflowers. One of them's hanging up on my wall. I might put a picture up. I might put a picture up here of the one that's on my wall. And then I did some still lifes, more landscapes. Trying, because I had a lot of trouble with trees. So I was just trying to figure that out. Just move those to the side. And then I tried to do a landscape with sheep with very mixed results. I found that very, very difficult to do. I was using a reference, but I was changing it. So I was starting to explore with changing it. Here is another one with the sheep that I tried. And yeah, it didn't work out. So I'll probably reuse this or try to fix it. I've got a few paintings that are like that. Anyway, let's continue on. I started to want to try and just do some study on water and environments. So, and then another, just a study, a partial study of a photo of Pinterest. More still lifes, an apple. I keep finding paintings all over the place. I don't know when that was. That was September, so that's a bit later. All right, so then we get into the animals. At the time I thought that was crap, and because I thought that was crap, I painted crap. So it kind of ends up being a self-fulfilling, you know, a mood that you go through. And then and then because those were so bad, I did master studies, where everything is already figured out. You just have to try and understand how they got there. And in true fashion, you do some good ones, and then you do some really bad ones. Around about the same time as then, I did these, so again, trying to work with animals in an environment. And this one, I actually really like this one. It's just of a, get that in frame. It's just of a, you know, a dense European street and some laundry day. This was an unfinished concept. It's not finished yet, so it's part of early 2025, and also this one isn't finished yet. Obviously some I work for longer periods of time than others, but anyway, then I started getting on the animal kick. So dog, goose, and then this monstrosity. Like I said, you always have a couple of steps back. I don't know what it is. It's the consistency, and that really got to me after a while. So I switched to doing some landscapes. I've done a few more than that, and some still lives, but again, they're in frames around the house. And then I did a little kitty. I was actually just trying to figure out how to do the fabric with some abstract strokes. And then I did this kitty. And I did write, this did not turn out how I envisioned it. I am very disappointed with all the parts of this execution. Also, fun is a challenge. I don't know what I was writing. I was trying to do something, it didn't work out. So I changed subject. Went to plants, still life, another still life. This was a colour, a style experiment. And then this was just random. I had paint left over, so I tried to... This is another style experiment. So I did go through a period where I did try to use different ways of painting. Like that one was with the palette knife. This one was with a bit of everything. I wonder how that will turn out once it's varnished. I might put that aside and give that a go. And then I did a study of a picture on Pinterest, which came out quite well. And then I decided to try and apply that to a photo. Now, I could have chosen a better reference, because the cat did actually look like that, but it doesn't make a good painting. So I tried a cow, and yeah, I wasn't happy with that either. So then what I did was I just got a cheap sketchbook and coated it with shellac. I guess it made a difference because you can't really see it going through, but that's oil paint. And these were just some simple studies. The discoloration on the paper is the shellac. It did come through here. Back with some more animals. I can see that I'm slowly improving, but I also still have very bad paintings. This one's nice. Like so. I tried to do two references, one for the style and one for the subject, and it just failed because I didn't understand what I was doing. So I went back to another subject. I did a still life. I mean, I do enjoy still lifes. I like the light and colour. And then I did a Anton Mauve. I did a study of one of his paintings with mixed results, but it was a study. More studies. And this one was just off a photo. Just random. Sometimes I would just pick random subjects to paint just for something different because I'd get bored really quickly. This one's quite nice. I like the red, how the red came out. I don't know if you can see it. That would be nice varnished. Because I can't afford proper varnish, I got a small tub of cold wax medium, and that was just the other day, so I've just recently been experimenting with that. And a couple of MDF boards I did a couple of studies with. And I really liked the feeling of painting on the MDF board, so I made a I tried to make a commitment to do more of that, but then I went back to the recycled cardboard because it doesn't feel like I'm wasting materials when I'm painting crap like this one. This was supposed to be a whole concept that just didn't work out. So mouse. This was more of a fur study, the colouring and texture of the fur. This was a feather study. This was another feather study. Colour and feather. The background colour is atrocious, but that was the leftover paint because of my miserly ways. And this was another Munnings study. And just a random cow. And this was a cat on paper. It's come through a little bit, but you know, I'm not too worried. And then I tried to do a style and colour study with this and it totally failed. It was atrocious. So then I went back to basics. I would just try, see my notes there, tried to make up my own lesson plan and making my own discoveries and failing in them with my own ways, and trying to learn what went wrong. And because I don't talk to anyone on the internet, I didn't do social media, I don't have any friends, I don't have a support network, I don't have anyone except for my husband to talk to, and he's not an art person. So what I did with these was I went to ChatGPT and I would upload a picture of this and I'd say what went wrong, you know, just for the critiques, and it would give me a suggestion on what I should try. And you know, and I did that. And so I ended up doing a whole heap of pairs with the suggestions, trying the different suggestions. And honestly, the stuff that it come up with was the same stuff that you would get out of a book. But because it's interactive, it felt more personalised, which was kind of cool, because I don't like using AI for much at all. There we go. And then I did some colour charts, yellows. We never got past yellow. I got sick of yellow. And that was the problem with asking ChatGPT for advice on getting better at painting, is it would get stuck on one thing and it would just, you know, yellow, yellow, yellow. I got sick of yellow, so I started to try and get closer to a different colour. And then I did the green apples because I just said, no more. This is enough. And then I tried doing a study for this painting, and it just didn't work out. This isn't finished, and I don't know what I'm going to do to finish it, but to me it's boring, it's lackluster, it doesn't have the certain thing that it needs. But anyway, I continued doing these little ones. I thought these grapes looked really nice. Yummy, love grapes. And then I did a couple of landscapes, and they were just a little bit average. And I did this one the other day, which I thought was quite nice. This is at a place called Pacific Pines. and they have a park there. Sometimes I go there to walk the dog, and yeah, that was all right. And I've got these, just a couple in here to show. So this was a practice. This again shellacked, and it doesn't look like it went through. And then I did a bird. Again, that looks pretty good on there. I used the cold wax medium on here for this to see if it would be good for the sketchbook. So that was just an experiment. And a couple of new ones. Again, I've been working on the consistency, because consistency is my ongoing problem, as you can see. That was just so not my style. And these are still stuck to their oars. I haven't taken them off yet. So I tried to do a cat. And it was just to try... What is that? Oh, it's because of this book. That was just to try and do fur, because I'm not very good with fur. And then we got this kitty, which I thought came out quite nice. That was just from a few days ago. And I have this one, trying to be careful. Oops. So this is on, never mind. I'll take that off later. There we go. It looks like for some reason there's something up on here. I don't remember why that is. Might have to go in and redo it. Apparently you can, even though this has been varnished with cold wax, apparently you can go and paint over it, so that'll be an experiment. But yeah, otherwise this one is finished, and this one is ready for a frame. It is a partial study of a larger painting. And I've got a couple more of those. So this is a Rosa Bonheur. I don't know how to pronounce the names, but this is a study of one of her paintings. It's not finished. It's nearly finished, but I quite like it. I really enjoy this one. And then the last one is this one, which is a study of... I can't think of the artist at the moment, but yeah, it's a partial study. And we are caught up. So hopefully moving on, I will be able to keep up with videos. I made a wooden frame to screw my lighting and my camera into, and my microphone. I do have to adjust the place of my microphone because it's not ideal at the moment. But this is, this setup is a lot better than what I had. So hopefully I'll be able to start making more videos. I will start earnestly in January. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe to see any further updates on the oil painting front, and just general sketches and things like that. I haven't showed the sketches that I've done because I can't be bothered. I don't know where they are. They're in books. I've got so many sketchbooks with pages, just random pages, because I open up a sketchbook and I think, oh yeah, this will be the one, and then I find another sketchbook and then I think, oh no, this one's better because the other one, the sketch I did in the other one was crap. So it goes like that. Oh yeah, there's one more. This one is finished and it's waiting for a coat of medium and varnish. Hopefully I'll be able to edit this video and get it up soon. Maybe this will be the December one, I'm not sure. It depends on how long it takes me to edit. Yeah, that's my journey so far. I'm actually genuinely looking forward to making videos again. I am posting on Instagram, but I don't know if I will continue because I just don't... It's not that I'm looking for engagement, it's that I just don't have the time to keep up with it. And I don't want to get into the state that I was before when I was so stressed out back in 2004. So before I took my break, just, from trying and just getting nowhere and spinning wheels, and also the environmental stress that I was in really took a toll on me. And yeah, that's pretty much all I want to say about the actual break. It was more environmental stress than it was online stress, but because of the environmental stress that I was in, I couldn't do the social media part. And yeah, so I just decided to take a break and just do painting for myself. And I think that worked out okay. But anyway, I will see you next time. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be in the video yet, but you'll have to check back. So with that, bye-bye.